Hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to being a video about Loki from the MCU in honor of the first episode of his series coming out. Just a warning, major spoilers ahead for all MCU content including the first episode of the Loki mini-series. Loki Laufeyson is the adoptive brother of Thor. Raised in Asgard alongside him. In his adulthood, Loki's schemes led him to launch an attack on Earth commanding the Chitauri in order to obtain the Tesseract. But he was stopped and defeated by the Avengers. However, the intervention of a different group of Avengers, who traveled through time from the future in order to obtain the Infinity Stones, allowed him to steal the Tesseract, using it to create a wormhole and escape confinement. First, we will start with his biography. Loki was defeated by the Avengers in the Battle of New York in 2012. Unaware that a different group of Avengers from the future was observing the situation in order to try to obtain the 2 Infinity Stones used during that battle, Loki was escorted by the Avengers to the first floor of Stark Tower, where they came across Alexander Pierce, who arrived to negotiate the custody of Loki, the Tesseract and the Scepter. Thor and Tony Stark argued with Pierce, as Thor noted that Loki must be judged by Asgardians. An argument that did not convince Pierce. Suddenly, Stark fell into cardiac arrest, causing Pierce and the Avengers to tend to him. In the ensuing chaos, the confused Loki noticed Ant-Man kicking the briefcase with the Tesseract to the future Tony Stark, who was disguised as S.H.I.E.L.D. guard. Stark retrieved the Tesseract, but when he began to exit, he was knocked over by Hulk while he was opening the door from the stairway. Hulk's interference caused the Tesseract to slide to Loki's feet. Taking advantage of the commotion caused by the Hulk, Loki took the Tesseract and used it to open a portal and escape his confinement. After Thor managed to reboot Stark's arc reactor, he turned his back to see that Loki was already gone. One teleporting away with the Space Stone, Loki created a branched reality in the alternate timeline. Prisoner of the TVA. Captured, Loki landed in the Gobi Desert in Mongolia after being spat out from the portal he previously created using the Space Stone. After he removed his heavily damaged collar and handcuffs, Loki attempted to appear superior to the group of Mongolian locals who found him and ran to stand above them on a rock. He introduced himself as Loki of Asgard to them, though they couldn't understand him and questioned his sudden arrival. Soon after, the Time Variance Authority sent several Minutemen to investigate the area. Hunter B-15 analyzed Loki and the timeline, stating he was a variant. An infuriated Loki told Hunter B-15 that he'd had a long day and was tired of people in armor bossing him around. Before he could get another word in, Hunter B-15 used a weapon to slow Laufeyson down to put on a time-folding collar while making Loki feel all the pain. Hunter B-15 and the other Minutemen confiscated both the Tesseract and Loki while they reset the timeline. In the TVA, Loki watched as the Minutemen gave the Tesseract to Casey and was forced to go through the prosecution process, with his armor burnt off by a scanner robot, much to his objection. Being forced into prisoner and signing a list of everything he has said, which Laufeyson found absurd. Finally having to go through a machine to see if he was a real being with a soul or be vaporized, which caused Loki to second guess if he was sure if he was a robot or not. In the waiting room, Loki grabbed a number for his call even though there was only one other person in the room besides him, but grabbed it anyway. While making his way through, Loki complained that he did nothing wrong, which caused a video of Miss Minutes to explain the sacred timeline. Loki questioned if anyone actually believes that, only to witness the other prisoner, who was non-compliant all through the process, be vaporized for not having his number after refusing it initially, causing Laufeyson to check that he had his number before his trial. Loki learns of the Timekeepers by the authorities' cartoon mascot, Miss Minutes. He doesn't believe Miss Minutes at all. Judged. Soon after, Loki's placed in front of Ravonna Renslayer, a judge in the TVA, who sets out his charges as a sequence violation. She proceeds to ask him how he pleads to the charges, to which he responds saying that a god doesn't plead, and asks if he could return home. She repeats the question, asking him if he's guilty or no guilty. Loki tells Renslayer he was guilty of being the god of mischief and for finding all of this unnecessary, but not for a crime against the sacred timeline. Renslayer then asks who they should hold accountable instead, and Loki replies saying that she should suspect the Avengers, as they went back in time, allowing him to end up in this situation. He then offers to personally kill them with a task force, if they could provide him with one along with resources, and that he knew because that he could smell two Tony Starks. Renslayer explained that the Avengers were meant to do their time heist, but Loki escaping wasn't supposed to happen. Renslayer planned on punishing Loki by having him erased, but Agent Mobius intervened and suggested otherwise. Seeing the future, Mobius volunteered to learn more of this version of Loki, with Loki and Mobius talking about whether or not Loki enjoys killing and hurting people. In the end, Mobius shows Loki his mother, Frigga's death. Mobius is then alerted by Hunter B-15 that a rogue variant has been killing all of the Minutemen. Loki sees Odin's death, and finally, his own by the Med-Titan Thanos. Hunter B-15 finds Loki, who uses the Time Twister against her. Mobius comes to Loki, who realizes that he does not enjoy killing or hurting. In the end, Mobius tells Loki to work with the TVA to defeat a threat killing all Minutemen, who turns out to be a rogue variant of himself. Now for his powers and abilities. Due to his heritage as a frost giant, Loki possessed superhuman powers such as strength, durability, speed, agility, stamina, and reflexes. He is also very skilled in the use of Asgardian magic, which makes him a formidable opponent even if he is not trained in the ways of Asgard's warriors. Frost giant physiology. Loki is a frost giant who had been enchanted to look like an Asgardian. Due to this heritage, Loki possesses the natural abilities of any frost giant, such as superhuman strength, durability, speed, agility and healing, the ability to manipulate ice and cold, and live for thousands of years. Superhuman strength. Like all frost giants, Loki is superhumanly strong. Superhuman durability. Loki's body is more resistant to physical damage than the body of a normal human being. Superhuman speed. Like all of his species, Loki is naturally more faster than humans. Superhuman agility. Loki naturally possesses greater agility, dexterity, balance, and body coordination than that of a normal human being. Superhuman stamina. Like all frost giants, Loki's musculature produces considerably fewer fatigue toxins during physical activity than that of humans. Regenerative healing factor. Despite his body's resistance, Loki can be injured like any other Asgardian or frost giant. However, his metabolism enables him to rapidly regenerate damaged bodily tissue with greater speed and efficiency than that of a human. Longevity. Loki has the capacity to live for thousands of years. Cold immunity. Like all frost giants, Loki is immune to the otherwise cold. Master Sorcerer. Loki learned how to wield Asgardian magic while growing up in Asgard. Shapeshifting. Loki can alter his attire, his voice and his physical appearance in order to resemble another person. Loki's shapeshifting could not free him of any restraints placed upon him, as when he transformed into Captain America to mock him, Loki's hands were still bound, although he made it appear that the restraints had vanished. Energy blasts. Loki can project green energy blasts, allowing him to hit, push, pull or blow away his targets. The blasts are powerful enough to send an adult humanoid flying. Genius-level intellect. Loki possesses a high-level intellect, something Mobius was aware of when interviewing him. Master tactician. Loki is a master strategist, nearly succeeding in conquering Earth when leading the Chitauri invasion. When working at the TVA, Loki claimed to be 10 steps ahead of Mobius. Mobius, an incredibly smart person himself, Expert combatant. Loki is skilled in many forms of combat, going toe-to-toe with multiple Avengers before and during the Battle of New York. Knife mastery. Knives are Loki's preferred weapon of choice, and as such has become incredibly skilled using them in combat. Now for the weapons and equipment he used throughout the MCU so far. Scepter. Loki wielded the scepter during the Battle of New York, and it was taken from him by the Avengers once he was defeated. Asgardian armor. Loki's primary set of armor consisted of green tunic overlaid with golden metal. It occasionally came with a green cape. Horned helmet. Loki possessed a golden horned helmet as a protective headgear and to represent the Asgardian magic he wielded. 6. Asgardian collar. Following his defeat in the Battle of New York, Thor muzzled Loki's mouth with an Asgardian collar to temporarily prevent him from speaking. Tesseract. In his quest to conquer Earth, Loki used the Tesseract to open the wormhole to the Chitauri. After his defeat, thanks to future versions of the Avengers interfering, Loki managed to reclaim the Tesseract, opening a portal and escaping Stark Tower. However, the Tesseract would be confiscated by the Time Variance Authority shortly after. And now lastly, for his personality. The Loki variant is similar in many ways to the Loki of the main timeline, possessing an incredible amount of arrogance, ego, and deceitfulness bordering on full narcissism, along with a lot of pride in his own abilities. Having not gone through the emotional growth of his main timeline counterpart, he is noticeably still very selfish and self-centered. However, just like his main counterpart, he still possesses love and affection for his family, noticeably erupting in anger when Mobius revealed that not only did Frigga die, he was indirectly responsible for her death. He also displays genuine happiness upon learning in the future he had made peace with his father and brother. Loki also reveals to Mobius that deep down, he does not truly enjoy hurting people or causing death, but does so because of his own perceived inadequacy of himself, only wanting power and to rule just so he can have some control over his life. And that is Loki in the MCU so far explained. I will do another video on Loki once his mini-series is finished, so stay tuned for that. I will also link the website I used down below, so go check them out. I hope you all enjoyed, and please like and subscribe for more like this. See you all in the next video. Bye bye.